What's up, guys? So since my last video, it's been a little bit of activity over here on the property. Right there, I went and got all my chambers for my septic system. Health department has come out and marked out. Right there's where the leaching field goes. That one little flag right there is where the tank goes, and that's where the D-box goes. So then I've got all my chambers out here ready to go. I went ahead and mowed today just to give me a clean place to work, you know, so it's not, just so I don't have hay dragging against the side of my legs and stuff like that when we're out here trying to work. Temperatures have been a little bit mild here lately, so I believe it's probably the last time I'll have to mow this year. I've marked out for the house, so my truck is actually setting where the garage will be on the other side of the house. That stake to that stake will be this end of the house, and there will be a walkout basement that comes out right through here. So this is going to be the low end of the house. I don't know if you can really see it on the camera, but this is the low end where this corner is. Over there, those two stakes are the front of the house, of the garage. Actually, the side of the garage, but on the front of the house. The garage enters from the side. So, and then that stake right in front of the tire of my truck is a corner where the house corners and actually comes over to this stake. And this is actually just marking out the foundation. It's not marking out actually the front of the house. So from this stake, it actually jogs out about almost 7 feet. There's a little bump out right here. And I'm just going to do a crawl space under that. So, and my idea behind that is that the straighter, the less corners that you can do in a basement wall, the cheaper it is to build. So I just eliminated that little jog in the basement wall. So just kind of saving a little bit of money. And then from this stake to that stake is the back wall of the house. So and that's just the back wall of the basement too. So then it comes over to here, and then from this stake up to this stake by the gas can, that's how far the master bedroom jogs out on the back of the house. So that's just another little box there that jogs out, and there will be a basement under it. Actually, this area right here, from that stake on the right there to that stake to this stake and back to this stake, is going to be my mechanical room in the basement. And then the rest of that area there will be just the open part of the basement. And actually this stairwell will come down from those two stakes that are side by side. It will come straight down back towards me into the basement. Then, like I said, the truck is sitting right where the garage is going to go. That'll be slab on grade, obviously. And then, so got it marked out, and this is actually the back. This flag right here is marks the back line of my property, where it joins the other lot. So it goes from this flag and along this line that I've mowed down to that next flag. I don't know if you can see it or not. There's another little yellow flag right there. Okay. So then you turn around and go back the other direction, and then it goes down to that next flag. So that's the back line, and it actually goes all the way over to the tree line that you see there. And the same over here. This goes all the way down over the hill to the tree line that you see there. And then Down there's all the storage building and all that area down there where I'm just kind of keeping all of our stuff for now. And then right here is our water line. So I went ahead and got the water line run to the top of the hill. Just put it in a frost-free yard hydrant here for now. The town has not come and put my meter and stuff in and done the tap yet, so I'm waiting to fill this hole back in. I'm going to wait and make sure I don't have any leaks before I fill the hole back in. And but I ran the line. I bought a 500-foot roll of 3/4 PEX and ran it all the way down around the driveway there and down along the side of the driveway back to the road. So it's kind of a little debacle with the trenchers. The local rental place their equipment's wore out. I mean, it wasn't any good. They actually have bought a new walk behind trencher, and it had an issue with it. It wouldn't drive so on one side, so it was always wanting to pull to one side. So we after working with it for about an hour or so, we dug about 20 feet, and we weren't making much progress. So I took it back to them. They refunded my money on it, and then we went ahead and rented another trencher, one of the ride-on type, for the next day, and it really wasn't any good either. So we got to the top of the hill here, dug the bar down in the ground, and when we go to try to drive forward, put any pressure against the digging bar at all, it would stall the digging bar out. So it would stall the chain out. So it just didn't have any power. It was wore out. But I mean, we got it done. It took us about probably 8 hours or better to do a 500-foot line, which is outrageous, to be honest. But I mean, I had it here and I had to get it done, so it's done. Also, I've went ahead and bought all my conduit to run my electrical service. So Appalachian Power came out and they said we're going to pull from this pole, that transformer. They actually wanted to do an overhead 100 amp service, temporary service, and I said, well, if I've got to buy the disconnect and all that, then I want to be able to reuse it on the house. So I said, I'm not doing a 100 amp overhead. I'm going to do a 200 amp underground service, and I'm going to go ahead and pay the fee to do the underground. I went ahead and got the 3-inch Schedule 40 PVC conduit. I'm going to run it. There's another 90 laying down there next to that pole. I'm going to go ahead and get another trencher over here, preferably one that works better than the last one. But I'm going to trench 3 feet down from that pole, 180 feet up to about right here. And then I'm going to do another long sweep 90 into my meter on a pole right here with a disconnect, and I'm going to put a couple outlets on the pole and everything, just so we can run tools and things while we're doing the construction. My idea is, so right about where that stake is there, that just to the right of that is where my meter and my disconnect is going to go on the house. The permanent service will go on the house. So my thinking is, if I ran that underground to my temporary just past that, about 20 feet past that, just to allow me enough extra wire that when I'm done with my temporary service, I can just come back to here, put a long sweep 90 straight over to the house, and then pull that wire straight up into the meter on the house, and use the same underground service that I used for my temporary for my permanent. The guy from AEP didn't really like that idea, but He claimed that the issue was going to be that the wire could get damaged. However, I don't know how it could get damaged when it's in conduit 3 feet underground. He was thinking the wire could get damaged during construction. Here's the thing. The wire can get damaged when you're pulling it through the conduit. The wire can get damaged whether it's during construction or not. I mean, it can get damaged anyway. And if it does get damaged, then worst case is I have to pay AEP to come back out here and pull another wire from the pole. So, and that's on me because I've got to pay for that service. So if I want to go ahead and run the underground service, then I'm going to go ahead and run the underground service to my temporary pole. So that's what I'm going to do. So yeah, that's pretty much where I'm at right now. As far as the financing side of things, I said I was going to kind of go through that. I went to the bank, talked to the bank, told them I was going to have the septic system in the ground before we applied for financing. So that adds value to the property. So the septic system is going in hopefully in the next week or two. We're just going to stub the pipe up through the ground right where the tank goes there for now, and then when we're ready to connect to the house, we will dig the ditch out there to that pipe and then connect at that time. So, but in the meantime, the septic system is going to go in the ground and it's just going to basically just sit there. And so with that being said, the county, my county, adds on their tax ticket $6,500 to the tax assessment for a septic system. I went and bought those chambers the other day, and I got those for, let me think, $21 a piece. Okay, I had them confused with the conduit for a second there because I got the conduit for $17 a piece. Materials have gone outrageous. One of the other places that I checked for the septic chambers went to $26.56 per chamber. I needed 95. So you can do the math. I ended up doing $21 a piece and I got 95 plus the 10 end caps that I'm going to need. And so with that being said, then the septic tank in D-box, I was quoted $700, and that's delivered, set in the hole, the day that we dig the hole. So once you add all that up, I should have close to run somewhere around $3,000 in the septic system. So my thinking is I've added $3,500 of equity to the property if they go based off of what the county assesses a septic system at $6,500 value. So for me, my thought was, okay, as much equity as I can get in this property now before I apply for the loan, the better. I'm hoping that the water line coming to the top of the hill, that was a 2,000, but I had a little over $2,500, almost $2,600 in getting this water line to the top of the hill. That's all of my pipe, the hydrant fittings, shut-off valve for down at the road, and the $2,000 tap fee that I had to pay the town. So that, I've got about $2,500 in that. I don't really see that adding no more value than that to the property, if it even gets to that point. But it had to be done either way. And now whenever I go to hook up my water for the house, all I have to do is pull from there to there, maybe 40 feet. So I'm a lot closer to the water source than I was 2 weeks ago. So anyway, I don't see that adding any value. The driveway, I've got about $1,500 in putting that driveway in. So it's probably not going to add much more value than that to it. But I mean, this money is equity added. So we've got, you know, so if you say 1,500 and then you say 2,600 here, we're at $4,100 of equity there, which is all this has been paid for already. So I mean, it is equity. It's not like it's financed or anything. So it is equity. And then so it's not like I spent that money and I'm not going to get that money back. So I should get that back in equity. So I owe just under $17,500 on the property, on the land. That will be absorbed by the mortgage, obviously. And then I'm hoping that the property will appraise with the septic in, the water in, the driveway, the storage building. I know storage building only adds a few $100s, but it's still value added. I've cleaned up that fence line along the front. I've actually taken all that fence line out along the front. I don't know if that'll add any value by cleaning that up, but it was an eyesore. It makes it look better anyway. I didn't really have no money in it. It was just basically demolition and labor on my part. So, got that done. So, I'm hoping we're going to be somewhere around $35,000 in value. If we're 35,000 or higher, we're pretty good. We're in good shape. So, the loan that I'm getting, that I hope to get, they haven't ran our credit yet, but based off of my credit report whenever I've done the land loan, and I haven't applied for any other credit since then, we should qualify. No problem for the 90% loan to value construction to permanent loan that is offered right now. And so with that, I went and talked to the bank, the loan officer at the bank. He explained to me that the construction to permanent loan, how it works. So obviously, you know, 10% down of the appraised value. That appraised value is going to be the appraisal of the house with the plans that we're building, and the finishes down to every doorknob and light switch and everything. So I've got to get a list of every single item that we're putting in this house and what that is going to cost. So I've got a spreadsheet that I've started. I actually bought a spreadsheet on Etsy from a guy that he had created as a home construction spreadsheet. So I'm putting in everything. I'm figuring out based off the plans how much everything is, because I'm my own general contractor on this. So they did allow me to be my own general contractor without any sort of penalty, but they told me too to also understand with being my own general contractor that whenever I go to do work and my subs go to do work, they need to understand, and I need to understand, that they do not get a draw for their work until their work is completed. And the same thing for me. So when I hire the foundation guy to come in here and do the foundation, if he wants 50% up front, best I can do is buy his materials for him. So that's where I'm going to run into a little bit of a snag, and I'm going to have to lobby with the subs to try to get them to go for what I'm doing. I think the guys that I'm going to use, they're local. They're guys that I've known for a while. I'm familiar with their families and stuff, and I'm hoping that they will. I'm hoping that they'll go along with what I'm doing and understand they'll get paid when I get paid. So, excuse me. So that's where I'm at on that. So back to the loan. So 90% loan to value, I'll have to have 10% down. The equity in the land should account towards that 10% down. So the the equity that I'll have. So I will have roughly $17,500 of equity if the land appraises for $35,000. So with that being said, that $17,500 will go towards the down payment, towards that 10% down payment. If the house on this property appraises for $250,000, then I have to have $25,000 down. So I need to come up with an additional $7,500. I should be in good shape there. If this house on this property appraises for $300,000, I have to come up with $30,000, take off the $17,500, and then I'm at $12,500. Again, I'll be tight. It'll be tight there, because then the issue comes that once this loan is approved and everything goes through, we close in 30 days. So the closing is before you start construction with a construction of permanent. Closing cost comes into play. On that amount, closing cost is probably going to be upwards around $10,000-$12,000. So that's an additional $10,000 or $12,000 I'm going to have to come up with. That may be an issue. I don't know. I just have to see what I can figure out and talk to the bank some more, and I'll let you guys know whenever I figure that out. So anyway, so after we close on the construction loan, then you start construction. Once we get that little snag figured out, you start construction. So we're going to do the excavation work ourselves. That's what I've marked out here. This grass line where the tall grass is actually our dig line. I'm going to dig out to where that tall grass stops. So that gives me 3 feet from all the perimeter walls of the foundation of the basement. That's what that'll do. So once I digged all that out, get down to the level that we need, this is the high point of the land right here at this stake. So this is the high point on the house of the property. So this is the point that I'll have to dig down the most to get down to below our finished floor, our basement floor. Once we get down to that point and get it level, we will lay out the footers, get everything squared up within that dig, get everything squared up, then we'll dig down for our footers. Being that far below grade, the footers only have to be 12 inches deep. So we're doing a 12 by 24 footer all the way around the perimeter. So then once we get those footers dug, the block guy can come in and start laying block. And then we're off to the races. The house starts going up then. That'll be an exciting day, unless it's in the middle of winter and we get a big snowstorm and we're delayed. That's the next question I have to ask the bank. What happens if we are delayed due to weather? So I don't know. I don't think that they will charge a penalty just because we have already closed on the loan. Because once we close on the loan, 30 days after that, I have to start making payments on that loan. The payments, I'm assuming, another question I have to ask the banker, I'm assuming the payments will be based on how much we have drawn to date from that loan. So if we have drawn $30,000 to date by the time the first payment rolls around, then I have to pay principal and interest on $30,000 at the terms that we agreed to on the loan. So that shouldn't be a problem. So as we get into construction and we make more and more draws, the payment goes up until we're completed. And then once we're completed, then you get your final payment amount. So that leaves me to wonder, are we going to get to the point of this house to where our payment is so high that we don't want to draw any more money, and so we just stop construction at that point and move in? Obviously you can't do that. Our building department has to issue a certificate of occupancy for you to occupy the dwelling. So all the inspections have to be signed off on. But that being said, the last inspection that they should really have to do, I mean, there's a final inspection, but other than that, they should, once they do their electrical inspection, their plumbing inspection, their final plumbing and final electrical inspection, and once they do all of that, then you should be able to occupy the dwelling, whether you've got the walls painted or you've got your flooring material down or carpet, or whether you've got all the doors cased and the windows cased on the inside, or whether you got siding on the outside. Those things are things that are considered finish work, and although they cost money and you have to pull from your loan, your draws from your loan to pay for those things, I don't see those as being items that have to be there to be signed off on your final inspection. But again, then the bank comes back into play. They're not going to want to fund a house build for an incomplete house. Or incomplete house. I don't know where I got incomplete from. That was stupid. But, so, anyway, that's where we're at right now. We're waiting on the bank. And I've got some work to do. I mean, with my job, I have to work 5 days straight, day shift the next 5 days, and I don't really foresee myself having a whole lot of spare time to get out here to do much, but hopefully by Friday, this is Sunday now, hopefully by Friday, I can get the excavator over here. I've got this leaching field marked out, and we can dig and we can put those leaching chambers in. And then hopefully on Monday or possibly Wednesday, when I work off next week, I can get the hole dug for the septic tank and have the septic tank manufacturer to bring it in the D-box out and set it in the hole. And then it's a matter of just plumbing everything up. So on the septic tank, I have to figure my fall from the house. So right here is the front line of the house, from this stake to this stake. That's where the sewer drain will exit the house. I have a line right there. That's where the sewer drain exits. Okay, so from this point here down to there, I need to figure out where my basement floor is going to be at this point right here. Once I figure out where my basement floor is at that point, then I need to figure how much deeper I need to go for my sewer drain exit, because my sewer is actually going to exit below the basement floor, because in this corner right here of the basement, we're going to have a future basement bathroom. So we're going to have a toilet and a little sink, just a little half bath there. We're just going to plumb it in, cap it off, pour concrete around it. So there'll be a clean out in the basement floor about in this area. So actually no, I'm off. So about in this area here, there'll be a clean out in the basement floor there, and then that pipe will go over and then up to a closet flange for a toilet, and then you'll actually just tap into that with your sink drain, and then run your vent stack and all that stuff up to tie into the vent going out through the top of the house. So I could put an air admittance valve on that. I think the building code in this location will allow you to put an air admittance valve for a vent, but I'm just going to go ahead and plumb it to the vent and be done with it. That way I don't ever have to worry about that valve going bad. That valve could potentially fail. It's a mechanical device. It can fail. So anyway, so sewer drain exits here. We'll have a clean out in the floor back there. The sewer drain should run straight. The route that we're walking here into a side port to the tank. So I need to calculate from the floor level, below the floor level where the pipe exits from there, down to here, and I need to get the right fall on that so as it doesn't have too much or too little fall to drain properly into the septic tank. And in order to do that, I'm going to have to get a laser transit or a transit of some sort, and shoot these grades, so I'll know how deep to dig and where. So anyway, but we'll figure that out. So once we're at this point though, the tank is underground here. Then from that flag to that flag is the D-box. So you come out of the tank, out of the end of the tank here. This is the exit of the tank here at this flag, and then it pipes over into the entrance to the D-box. Okay, then your D-box will distribute out to all 4 leaching fields. So that goes out all the way out there. So I've got to dig 4 lines 28 inches deep at this end, and then 30 inches deep all the way down at that last flag. So it's got to have 2 inches of fall. These were shot with a transit to where I have to follow the contour of the hill right there. Once I follow that contour, that is level. That contour is level. So I follow that contour over to there and then measure down as I dig. So once I'm down to the deep enough, I put the chambers in, lock them all together, put my end caps on, stab the pipes in the inside of them, and that's a leaching field. Run those pipes up into my D-box, and then run my single pipe out of my D-box into the tank, and then my single pipe out of my tank back to the house, and that's our septic system. Health inspector will come and inspect it. Once he signs off on it, cover it up, plant a garden on top of it. So that's the idea. Anyway, I've rambled on for about 34 minutes now, and really, I mean, I've just talked about a lot of plans, and hopefully we can go through with them. And once we get started digging, I'll do another video. As we go to put in the septic system, I'll video all that and show you how we're going to do that. It's going to be a DIY deal. Me and my dad are going to do it. So, but it shouldn't be too hard to do. Not a big deal. It's pretty straightforward stuff. So we'll have water, we'll have sewer, and once we get this piped up here, I've already bought my meter base. Well, I didn't buy it. I mean, they give it to you, but I bought my disconnect that goes to the meter base and all the connectors and all that stuff and the wire and all that stuff to wire all that up, outlets, things like that. Once all that's put together, put it on a pole, get everything hooked up, call AEP, tell them to come out, run my wire. Building inspector's got to sign off on it, make sure the inspection's good on my temporary pole. Once all that's good, that all goes on my building permit. So once all that's good, it's all signed off on, then we have utilities on the lot. Something this lot's never had, ever. It's been a hayfield to this point. So then we'll have water, we'll have sewer, we'll have electricity. It's a step in the right direction. So till next time, keep checking back. Bye.